We're so grateful to have Courtney Gorden here. We have had a awesome discussion today. One, what it takes to become a registered dietitian and how that's so different from a nutritionist. Some of the key elements, like the top 5 things to help not only manage type 2 diabetes and prediabetes, but also reverse it. And that is a shared commonality we have is that that can be helped. And I love Courtney's personalized approach, and you'll be able to notice that throughout this discussion of how we make this very doable, manageable thing you can do for life. And I thought it'd be fun, Courtney, just to start. Tell us a little bit about yourself, hobbies, interests, whatever would be fun.
I love a lot of things in the wellness world. So I feel like my hobbies are right there. Yoga, I'm a yoga teacher. I love to work out. I love running. I love reading, as you can see behind me. I
A lot
love
of
to read.
books. That's awesome.
Yeah, I have 4 kids, and I'm a dietitian. So I love like lots of things around nutrition, that kind of stuff.
And I don't think that most people understand the intensity with which it takes to become a dietitian. You want to tell them real quick that?
Yes. I'm happy to share and explain because
Yeah.
I love to differentiate just so people know. So, to be a registered dietitian, that requires a minimum of a master's degree. After you get your master's degree in nutrition or some, related, you do 1,000 hours internship, supervised, and then after that, you can set for a credentialing exam. Um, it was really hard. It's
Mhm.
like not like a super easy test. It's a couple hours. After you pass that, then you become a registered dietitian. Then to maintain your credential every 5 years, you have a certain number of continuing education credits to kind of keep you always current, which is um, awesome. So that's kind of the difference between a registered dietitian and someone who may call themselves a nutritionist.
Yeah,
Registered dietitians are also nutritionists, but not all nutritionists are registered dietitians.
totally. Totally. And there's such a difference. Um, and like another quick question is like, what do you resonate most with as a registered dietitian where it's like, oh, this is like my favorite moment or a really cool like win opportunity for you?
Like being a dietitian.
Yeah. Like, what do you like most about it?
Yeah, so I kind of knew this the whole time that I was going to school. I got my bachelor's degree like when I was young um, in public health.
Hmm.
And then I went back when I was 32 for to get my master's, to do my prereqs, to do all of that. So I went back much later in life. And I always knew that I would be like in counseling in some kind
Mm.
of way, shape, or form. That's kind of what I thought when I started, and that's totally what I've done. I really resonate with like they call it outpatient nutrition. I love doing nutrition counseling. So I do a lot of one-on-one. I love doing groups. Like I love the connection with people, the
Mhm.
therapy that's like in nutrition counseling, like
Totally.
getting to the bottom, kind of like you with functional medicine, like getting to the root issue,
Yeah.
not just like giving somebody a meal plan and saying, here you go. Um, but it's like so different than what they're doing that it's too easy to not do it. So I like helping people find real change and
Mhm.
then to make it sustainable. So I would say sustainable habit formation, that kind of thing. That's like kind of my jam. That's what I like to do.
When I sent Courtney my thoughts on food with diabetes, you could totally see that come through, Courtney, where you're like, you know what? I think maybe we have a different approach. And that's one of the biggest reasons I want to keep working together is because you add this element of personalization where I'm going to put myself down a little bit. Like as a physician, many times it's prescriptive. Hey, here's this, do this. I'll see you back in a month. And, working in Western medicine for like 8+ years, it's like that you kind of get used to that to some extent. And I like your approach so much where it's like a therapy. It's like meet someone where they are and what's
Yeah.
their next step in the journey. And at least that's what I'm seeing with
Yeah.
your approach and kind of what
And
you're
that's the
saying.
same kind of thing that I feel like you do too. And maybe why you stepped, part of the reasons why you stepped away kind of from the insurance model that you were doing.
Mhm.
But I just feel like the reason why I'm able to be so personalized is the time piece.
Sure.
Like, because I have time, like, we have like hour-long sessions. So it's like we can really kind of like get to know each other to a level where it's like we can make those sustainable changes. And so I think that's really hard if you only have 15 minutes.
Mhm.
Um, which is another thing that kind of drew me to, again, like I mentioned, like outpatient nutrition rather than just like seeing somebody very quickly, like you said, just
Mhm.
here's the plan, do this, and then, like I like
Yeah.
the elaboration piece.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's get into the diabetes element.
Yeah,
Um, and for those out there that don't maybe know a ton about diabetes, if I could maybe give like a small science tidbit, and then if you want to add anything to that, and then maybe we'll go into the specific way that you like to approach it and what you've seen work well. And then if there's even time, we'll go into the different societies, American Medical Association, Endocrinology Association, Lifestyle Medicine, and just kind of like their stances on it. Is that cool with you?
love it.
Cool.
Yes.
So first, diabetes. Um, and there may be some that comment here that there's different mechanisms that they've been taught, but from a medical standpoint, um, in a nutshell, diabetes is where the body no longer responds to insulin well. And I'm going to give a really quick analogy, the one I give for everybody, but the body is an energy machine. And I have another video, I'll link it, that gives like a whole analogy. But the basic thing is we need energy into our cells. And the key to get the energy into the cells is insulin. And diabetes or type 2 diabetes is where that key stops working well. And then the pancreas needs to make more keys. So you have a lot more insulin trying to open this gate to let the energy in, and finally it gets in. And in the meantime, while those keys are not working, this energy or sugar builds up in the bloodstream. And it's like razor blades going through the bloodstream, cutting up these capillaries, which then cause other problems. And it's just this whole host of inflammation and injury that happens. A couple quick tidbits: insulin is a growth hormone. So individuals that have more insulin in their body, it's stimulating their body to save energy. And that's, you can see this increase adiposity, like increase fat on these individuals because they have higher insulin. Um, so that's kind of in a nutshell with diabetes, and there's some different theories as to how it develops, how those locks on the key don't let the keys work very well. Um, but I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that?
I just am smiling and nodding so much because that's like the same analogy that I like to use, especially with
Yeah.
insulin resistance.
Hmm.
Um, and the only thing that I would like really add is that I kind of explain to people that you, when your internal condition or the internal environment kind of is this like spike, blood sugar spike with the insulin, like shoop and crash up and down over a long period of time, that kind of changes the conditions, it changes the like your cell to the point where you see the, insulin resistance. I don't think you've kind of brought that term up yet, but
Okay.
yeah, like it's just it's a long amount of time
Hmm.
of eating with these insulin spikes. And so um yeah, I love that was well said. And like the cool thing about type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes is the fact that you can reverse it. And I think
Boom.
that's, yes,
Boom. Let's go.
yes,
Let's
yes.
go. Can I
So
say
it's like
one
good news.
totally good news? Two thoughts on that. And this is Q&A for you, but I'm just going to interject this.
Yeah.
One of the theories, and I'll link the study down below, but one of the theories is an increase of fatty acids in the cell, and specifically the pancreas cells, that cause this. insulin resistance. Now, I don't know if that's something that you study or teach or you agree with, but like that's one of the theories is because there's an increased accumulation of fat in the cell, it's resistant to more insulin. And you can think of it in an energy standpoint. It's like, look, y'all, we have plenty of energy right here. Like, and our cells are plump with it, with the stored fat. We don't want more energy in here. And so it becomes resistant to the key, doesn't work as well. That was one thing. And if you have anything to add, I'd love to hear it. The other quick thought was I forgot. I forgot what the second thought.
That's okay.
But
No, I actually
anyway,
hadn't heard that about the fat thing, but I like that wouldn't surprise me. I generally see insulin resistance. Well, there can be a lot of different reasons why you may have it. Like you may have a
sure,
condition like PCOS, and
sure,
PCOS lends to insulin resistance. But a lot of times it's just our standard American diet
sure.
lends the kind of diet that like creates insulin resistance. And so it's actually pretty common. I had a statistic. The last statistic I looked at was 40% of Americans experience insulin resistance.
That makes
So yeah, it's a lot. I mean, that's like almost half. So the kind of treatment to reverse it is like honestly helpful for everyone. And I think as we kind of discuss the stances from these different like authorities,
yeah,
and kind of pull these common threads, like these
sure.
common principles, like, okay, I kind of feel like this approach, if I can add more of this to my diet, it will
Mm.
be, for the better for me.
Which I'm super excited for you to get into. Like what,
Yeah.
different organizations, and I have some stuff pulled up too, but like, and I like that approach too, where it's like, look, there are common themes and it's not an all or nothing. Am I going off on edge? It's like, hey, look, this might work well for you right now, and that will help. Anyway, yeah, go into it. I'm excited to
Yeah,
hear.
I love it.
Share what your approach is and what you like to do,
Okay.
and yeah,
Yeah,
what
sure. So if you came into my office and you just got your labs back and your A1C is higher, you're now kind of like in the pre-diabetic zone and you're like nervous. So you schedule an appointment. The first thing we're going to kind of talk about is I would give an overview, kind of like what we did about like what insulin resistance is, because I think it's really important to know what's happening and why you may be struggling with like excess weight that's you're having trouble losing if that was your goal,
sure.
And so I think it's like important to kind of see the whys to kind of understand how blood sugar works and how to regulate it. Then we kind of start talking about specifics.
Hmm.
So I really follow guidance from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics,
Hmm.
kind of the governing body for registered dietitians, and then also the American Diabetes Association. And I know you have some resources with lifestyle medicine
Hmm.
as you're a part of that group, but um, the first thing I always start with, usually for people, is making sure that we're pairing like our carbohydrate that we're eating with protein or fiber or fat. Like we want to try and avoid these big spikes followed by crashes. So
Got it.
when you're pairing your food with something that breaks down slower, it kind
Mhm.
of like gives you a steady rise in energy. So instead of like the insulin coming out like all at once and like kind of overwhelming your
Mhm.
cells because you just gave yourself something like, I don't know, I like to say like if you just ate a bunch of candy or you ate a bunch of chips, you're going to spike your blood sugar, but there's nothing really holding it there. So it kind of turns around and comes back down quickly. If
Mhm.
you have insulin resistance, that's the kind of thing we want to avoid. Like, honestly, we probably want to avoid that. Everybody kind of wants to avoid that.
Yeah.
But like if you're insulin resistant, then these spikes with followed by drops are kind of what we want to drop. So first thing we want to do is start getting into a habit of pairing protein
Mhm.
with the carbohydrate. And if your carbohydrate can have high fiber,
Mhm.
that's kind of like the best case scenario. So I talk with people like usually protein is like one of the first things I talk about because I feel like a lot of people aren't getting enough and they're not pairing it with carbohydrates. Then we're going to talk about the quality of carbohydrates. So
Do you mind if I just interject real quick?
yes, please, because I know it's like
No,
so
this is great.
many.
No, I'm just
Mhm.
always also thinking of our listeners, right? Like, all right,
Yes.
protein. do I just go out and get like I see protein bar or protein milk and it's like 25 grams, like do I eat that with uh carbohydrate or like how do you have patients think of protein? Because there's so many different
Yeah.
types of protein.
Yeah, so protein. I mean, you can get protein from meat, you can get protein from dairy products, you
Mhm.
can get protein from legumes and beans, like lots of vegetables have protein, things like quinoa, lots of
I'm
your whole
I'm
grains.
totally gonna play patient here. All right,
Please.
let's keep rolling. I get super gassy with legumes. I don't know,
Okay.
but like
Yeah.
I get I and
Okay,
I
that's
tried
okay.
them
We
once
can
when I was a
find.
kid, but I don't do legumes. Like, what are the benefits of legumes? Like, is there I don't know, is that like a protein that I must have?
Yeah, so no, I don't think it's a must-have protein because I think there's lots of things that you can do and you can work with what your preferences are and what you
Okay.
like. So, one thing I would say when you're introducing fiber, if fiber is making you feel gassy, sometimes you can just give it a little bit of time for your body to get used to increasing, and then you're okay. If like every time it's like a no, well, we can totally find other things. Some people have IBS, and
Mhm.
then that requires us to like find different ways to get protein. But
Mhm.
um, like one of the easiest things I have people do that are
Mhm.
like not having breakfast in the morning ever, we'll like start with like a protein shake that they can just grab
Sure.
and fruit just to kind of start their day. If they're, that's kind of something. Um, what was the other
Protein
part of
bar, like, is
Yeah.
there a specific type of protein I'm looking for to pair with my carbs as like during a meal?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a specific type. I like varying sources of protein. So if I had a client who was only doing protein shakes and protein chips and a protein bar, for example, where I'm gonna first of all clap my hands that they're working on getting protein.
Cool.
And we're going
Cool.
to acknowledge that. And then we're going to see like, are there any other sources where we can get this? Can we get some protein from plants?
Yeah.
Figure out what they like. Like, okay, yeah, actually I do like beans. I like pinto beans. Okay, well, let's make a crock pot of pinto beans at the beginning of the week. And then we can kind of see if is that doable for you? Do we want to just use canned whatever?
Hmm.
So again, this is where the personalization comes
Totally.
in.
You can sense
We
that.
figure out like, okay, about how much protein do we need per day? Because that's going to vary depending on the person, depending on different conditions, depending
Yeah.
on if you're strength training, etc.
Yeah.
But we're going to figure that out. And then we're going to be like, we're going to see what your preferences are, what your dislikes are. And then we
So
kind of
cool.
go from there and piece it together.
It's so cool where it's almost like it's so applicable. Hey, just a quick protein drink in the morning.
Mhm.
Let's start there. And then maybe readjust if you like that, or I don't know, keep stepping
Totally.
up.
Or we can grow. Like maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like finding ways. I feel like the best way to make sustainable change
Hmm.
is finding little things that you're already doing and just seeing where to, great,
I love
my
it.
dog
I
found,
love it. No, that is amazing.
and finding like little tweaks that we can make. So
Yeah,
that's how you make change.
love it. Okay,
Mhm.
so I
So
totally broke your
protein,
stride there, but yeah, where are we
yeah,
next?
that's okay. So protein with the carbohydrates.
And that's
I
to
kind of
prevent the
mentioned
spikes and
fiber.
drops,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yep, and the way that protein does that is it takes longer to break down and to digest. So instead of spiking your blood sugar,
Hmm.
it kind of gives you this like curve and a steady drop. It sustains your energy longer.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah.
And are they going to be hungry again quickly, or does that help too?
No, it actually helps with
Yeah.
satiety. It helps with
Yeah.
cravings. I tell
Hmm.
almost all of my clients who are like, I'm just craving sugar every afternoon, every evening. That could be two things. It could be
Yeah.
psychological hunger or a conditioning, like that's your habit. But it could also be you're under fueling and
Sure.
under proteinated. Is that a word?
Sure. I like it.
In the day,
Yeah.
that's like the thing. It's like a magic wand. You get enough protein
Sure.
early in the day, you're usually fine. And then you have control better around
Yeah.
your meals, around food. So yeah, that's always something I get people like started with. And that's
Mhm.
insulin resistance, not insulin resistance.
Yeah.
The main thing with insulin resistance that I'm really going to focus on is fiber.
Yeah.
I'm going
Why?
to talk about protein and then we're going to go straight to fiber. And I know that's something that you do too.
Totally. I'm going to put a little science. There is bacteria in the colon that actually are like a pharmacy, natural pharmacy, that will actually improve your insulin sensitivity. It's butyrate producing short chain fatty acid bacteria. So as you feed them fiber, you're actually also feeding your friends in your colon bacteria, and they're helping produce these chemicals that go throughout your bloodstream and help you be more sensitive and let that insulin work better. I mean, that's one of the many ways that
I
fiber
love
helps.
that.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I love the kind of concept of like you're feeding your gut this food that they like that's like they like.
totally.
Yeah, I think that as a dietitian, I honestly talk about protein and fiber. Like I probably spend more time talking about that than
Mm.
literally anything else in my whole life. I go protein and fiber all day, every day. But yeah, fiber. So the American average for fiber is about 7 grams a day. The goal of where we're trying to get, especially with insulin resistance,
Yeah,
or any kind of heart thing, like
yeah,
lowering cholesterol. I know we're focusing on insulin
that's good.
resistance, but 25 grams for women, 35 grams for men. And I'll even, I'm not mad if you go above 25 grams and you're a girl. Like
Right.
that's kind of like where we want to stay as the minimum. So I usually will get people trying to get to 20 to start, and then we'll
Yeah.
try to get up.
And
hmm
how do you get them to get that fiber?
Yeah. So again, fiber's the same kind of thing as protein. We figure out what are our main sources,
Mm.
like
Which
what has a lot of fiber, what are going to be the movers and the shakers, like give you like a lot.
which would
Um,
be
yeah. So beans and legumes, they top the list again. So I've mentioned that one with protein. It's kind of a superfood to me because it takes protein and fiber and it has like it has the carbohydrates. So I love beans. Beans every week at my house. We always have them in the fridge. Um, there's lots of fruit and vegetables that have fiber, some more than others.
Mhm.
Raspberries are like some of the higher, at like 8 grams for a cup. I like to do frozen raspberries because if when raspberries go out of season, it's
Mhm.
cheaper, but it's a good way to get it. So like having like a habit of like berries every day, that can be helpful. And apples like 4 grams.
Mhm.
So I mean, things like that that become habits. I feel like you want to say something. I can just like
No, I love it. I'm just saying, like, wait, I think it's five tablets. I could be off on this of the fiber supplements will get you like 5 grams. So you're saying an apple's almost just as much. You eat an apple instead.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you bring up the best point. So when I talk to tell them blue in the face about fiber with
Yeah.
people, a lot of times one of the first things they want to do is go out and find a fiber supplement, right?
A fiber one bar.
Yeah. They're like, okay, okay, like I know I need fiber. So immediately, and I think this
Yeah,
is kind of human nature. We're just
totally.
like, what supplement can I get? Okay, the best supplement that I have found on the market is very expensive and it gives you 7 grams per serving, but it's expensive. Um, I had a client once tell me that they took 9 tablets per morning and got like 3 grams or something of fiber. And I was like, okay, let's talk about real food sources because it's like that didn't even really move the needle a ton. We want like needle movers. But
Yeah.
black beans, for example, a cup of black beans is like 15 grams of fiber. Okay.
One
And
cup.
you
That's
don't
it.
have to eat a whole cup, but just,
Yeah.
yeah, think about like
Yeah.
sources that like move the needle.
Yep.
I also tell people too. So I just want to kind of mention this. Um, because I don't want anyone to ever beat themselves up. Like, okay, for example, brown rice versus white rice. Brown rice has like 3.5 grams per serving. White rice has 1 gram. So it's not like a huge difference with fiber. Me personally, I eat white rice because I like jasmine rice. It's like kind of sticky and I like it better. And I get my fiber somewhere else. Like
Yeah.
I'm still able to hit my goals. So you kind of have to just like pick and choose where you want to get your fiber from.
Right.
I have oatmeal most days.
Sure.
Oatmeal is a nice, good source of fiber.
Yeah.
Whole grains.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, because we could talk probably 2 to 3
All
hours
day.
on this,
All day.
um, how about in the last 2 minutes, you give me what are like the top five? I mean, you've already mentioned pairing carbohydrate with protein to help with insulin spikes and drops.
Mhm.
Fiber, what are a couple of movers that you're seeing to help people with insulin, with management of diabetes, but also reversal?
Exercise. Exercise is huge. It manually helps like get that key into the lock using your analogy. Like it helps move everything.
Mm.
Exercise, strength training, movement, huge.
Even take a
Um,
walk after a meal?
yes, and that's like my favorite thing to do. Like it is getting into a habit like that of walking where it's not even like feeling like just like remove the barriers, reduce
Yeah,
friction to doing
sure.
something. Walking I love because it literally is just like walking out your door. Walk around. Walk around your kitchen. I don't care. Like have a walking pad. I have a walking pad at my house. If it's crappy outside and I don't have like a lot of steps for the day, sometimes I'll like watch a show and hop on my walking pad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So reduce friction for exercise. Let's see, I
Okay.
have a list. Sleeping.
No
Sleep
way. Look
really
at
helps.
this. Sleeping. Okay. So much data to that. What else?
There is stress management.
Lifestyle
It's very
pillars right here.
holistic.
Totally.
And then I also give out the framework. I know we're almost out of time,
Yeah.
but for people that just need a little more to grasp onto, because they're like
Mm.
fiber, protein,
Sure.
oh, like what do I eat though? The Mediterranean diet is one of the most researched kind of ways of eating, and it really has kind of all these principles that we've
Hmm.
talked about, kind of together combined. So
Awesome.
looking at the like do a like Google research or a Google like search of Mediterranean diet and just see like what does the Mediterranean diet have and then
Hmm.
how can I take some of these principles and do more of that in my day? Because like I always tell my clients, I don't care what you do like every once in a while. I care about what you're doing all the time.
Yeah.
That's what moves the needle
Consistency.
for you.
Got
Hmm.
it. So
So
helpful. So helpful. And thank you for explaining the personal approach as well to it. So it's been a joy to have you and
thank
keep up what
you.
you're doing and excited for our grocery store tour tomorrow at Walmart. Or not
Is it already
tomorrow,
tomorrow?
Friday.
Oh my gosh. I'm like,
No,
oh my gosh.
Friday.
These are all together. Okay, Friday.
With
Yep,
our
yep, I'll be
paycheck.
there.
So awesome. So thank you so much, Courtney.
Thank
So
you.
cool. Yeah. And then I'll email you for Friday to make sure we're all good for there if that's cool with you.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
Cool. Thank you so much. That was fun.
Yeah, it was. Thank you.